Welcome to my holistic self-care tips. This is going to be a short presentation on how you can take great care of yourself and others. First of all, you need to start with yourself. So it's going to be essentially a talk that covers holistic health in a way that you can apply on a regular basis and allow yourself the space and time to be able to do more for others and to better serve the community. So here are my tips to really allow you to take care of yourself in a holistic way so that you can better care for others and be a great citizen of our society. So let's get underway. But before we do, I'll share with you my credentials to be able to share this information. So I'm a qualified clinical nutritionist and also have a degree in Complementary Medicine and a degree in chemical engineering, which all serve me in my ways in which I help others, because engineering helps me be a really good problem solver and a great understander of science, and so does my Bachelor of Health Science, which is then supported by my degree in Complementary Medicine. Also a family man, and I love what I do. So let's get underway. Let's look at holistic health and how I'd like to share it with you so that you think of it in this way, or you can include other aspects that are important to you that might be missing in this diagram. However, if you look at this and apply this in the way, not really in the way that it's shown, it doesn't matter, as long as if you're applying all aspects of holistic health, it will in turn give you better resilience and it will make you feel better. Whether it brings happiness is up to you, but certainly you will be in a better state to receive happiness or to enjoy happiness. So it really, you need to be doing each of these aspects, which is sleep, mindfulness, relationships, nutrition, and movement. You need to be enacting them all together or doing them so it's not, so I guess what I'm saying is don't just choose one and then focus on one. You need to be doing bits in every aspect to really feel that ultimate self-resilience, and you'll be able to deal with adversity a whole lot better because you'll be in that better state of mind. You'll feel better about yourself, and you'll be calmer and be able to think more rationally through these moments of adversity. So let's get underway in terms of what you can do to help serve yourself. It really starts with creating healthy boundaries, and that's really so that you don't spend too much time in one area and not serve the other areas of holistic health. And so if we look at the work context, if work consumes you, then you don't have the time to invest into your own health, into things that are important to you, such as relationships, because you've been overly consumed by work. And that really results in this out of balance. And what this talk is all about is helping you be more aware of how important it is to be balanced. And secondly, really focusing on what you can control and then setting yourself up around making sure that happens. So prioritizing. So you really need to be looking at what's important to you. And obviously you're listening to this talk because health is important to you. Now it's a matter of prioritizing health into your day. And what helps is really having clearly defined boundaries of when you're working, when you're playing, when you're present in conversations, when you're watching TV. It's really good to create these spaces that you go to just to do that. For example, if you go and meet someone, then that's the purpose of going, to do that, right? To build that relationship, to invest in that relationship. There's no point of turning up to that meeting with someone and be thinking about something else, about your next function or something you're looking forward to on the weekend or your dinner or something, because what's the point of having that meeting? That person knows you're not there. That person knows you're not listening. So it's much better to really engage in the task. And what helps with that is creating these healthy boundaries. What do I mean by that? It's about looking at your diary ahead, looking at times when you can fit in exercise. And it may be a set scheduled time, or it may be something you just need to find time based on what that diary looks like. So some meetings will come into your diary that are a bit out of your control. They might be set by your manager. So then it's working around those. And it's being flexible. You need to have an element of flexibility. But it's just really allocating that time because it's important to you. I don't go a day without exercising because it's important to me. I know it's important to my overall well-being, and I always invest some time into moving the body. What can really help around creating these boundaries is setting yourself up so that if you're working from home if you're in a lockdown, as some of us are, then it's really important to define your areas of work and the areas of which you're with the family or present with the family or present with your flatmates. So it's good to say, look, when I'm sitting at this desk in this space, I'm in work mode. And you can let your flatmates and family know that you're in work mode and not to disturb you if that's possible with homeschooling. In saying that, yes, you've got to have a degree of flexibility around what I'm saying. So it's really allowing you that space to do good work so that then you can be productive and free up time to then invest in other areas such as time with your family, time to move the body, time to go and buy good groceries so that you can eat well, time to cook and all those sort of things. The reason why I share this is because if you don't define these boundaries, then everything will just morph into one and you will be constantly either working or you'll be playing and not getting your work done and something's going to be out of balance. Okay, so it's important to have these boundaries defined, whether it's a physical sense or you could actually, what helps if you can't physically define it is you put work clothes on, right? So that means it triggers the brain, when you're putting the work clothes on, that it's work mode, right? And then when you take the work clothes off, you're in play mode or you're in your other, whatever you're going to do. So it can help if you can't set up the physical boundaries because you're working in the living room, that's where you eat dinner and that's where it's near the kitchen where you cook. If that's not possible, then it's create these triggers that it sends signals to your brain that it's work mode. And that can be just getting dressed in work clothes, then you do work, get out of work clothes, and then put your play clothes on, and then you're playing, right? And you're not working. Or it could be when I sit down at my desk, I switch the lamp on. And the moment I switch the lamp on, I'm in work mode. The moment I switch the lamp off, I'm out of work mode. Same with the laptop. I turn the laptop on, I'm working, I don't leave it on, okay? When I finish work, I'm shutting it down, okay? I'm turning off notifications on my phone to avoid further work because otherwise your work will encroach on your time to do your movement, your time to spend time with family, your time to do cooking, and things will just spiral out of control and you just think, I just don't have a handle on this, and you get anxious because you're doing too much of one area and not enough in terms of this overall balance. So it's a real balancing act and you never get it perfect. So don't try to perfect this. It's just being consciously aware of it and making efforts to better balance the day. Some days will be a bit out of balance, but that's fine. You just make it up, okay? You just don't want to get too much out of balance. So too many withdrawals is hard to catch up, so to speak. It's like sleep deprivation. There's a point where you won't be able to catch up on the sleep deprivation. Okay, so I think I've well defined these sort of creating these healthy boundaries. And it's you thinking outside the box. If you need help, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to give you some tips that will help for your situation. In terms of relationships, they're an essential part of holistic health. We are social beings. We need social connection. We need to feel loved in order to really connect with who we are, and it's part of us interacting as humans is this ability to help one another. So we really rely on one another in terms of getting outcomes. So everyone's born uniquely different. You have different strengths, right? And so you won't be strong in everything. And so you do rely on others for the areas that you're not strong in, right? And so this is how we complement one another. This is how we work together. And so it's important to recognize that relationships are really important. And a study done by Harvard actually indicated it's the most important thing around happiness and health in terms of their research, right? So don't underestimate the importance of relationships, and certainly allow the time to build relationships. So my top 3 tips, I'm going to be giving 3 tips in each of the areas of holistic health. My definition of holistic health, it can be different for you. There might be aspects that I'm missing that are important to you. I acknowledge that you're completely unique and different. However, my 3 tips in this area of relationships is putting aside time to connect with people that are important to you, right? So it's important that you prioritize the time you spend in relationships that are people that are important to you, and not waste time with other people that won't, I think you know what I mean in terms of there's people that are really important in your lives. There's others that aren't so much, and they might be using you, for example, and it's not a two-way relationship, therefore less time with them. Really build relationships with those that it's a real nice synergy between one another, and make sure you allow time for that. In terms of the caring, it's really looking in their best interests. What are their needs? How can I help them? And that really builds the relationship. It's not looking about what I can get from the relationship. It's all about what I can give. And if everyone has this giving mindset, we have this abundance, and it will come back to you because other people will be asking, how can I help you? So let's get more of this abundance mentality as opposed to what can I get for my gain, because there's a scarcity out there. Think abundance, think what can I give, and just be willing to give and love giving, and it will come back. So look in the best interests of the other person in terms of care. Be present. It's so important that if you're investing time in relationships, that you are present. The other person will know if you're not, okay? So you can't hide it. So being present, so really listening to the words they're saying, the tone they're saying it, the body language they're expressing, because you'll pick up in terms of hidden underlining tones or something like that, or something they're not sharing, and then you'll be able to in a kind way, sort of approach, sort of a sense there's something not right with you. You don't seem yourself. Is there something that's going on? That you could share with me. These are the deeper conversations that are really important for their health and the overall health of society. Because once if we're all letting out our concerns and sharing them with others, we can help others. If you're not sharing what's going on in your life, how can other people help you? So be present to pick up on the signals to realize that someone's not doing well. Okay, in terms of sleep, we cannot forget sleep. Sleep is essential for good, healthy relationships, because that's where we do our emotional cleanse. That's where we can be in our best emotional state the next day, and we can have the most energy from a good night's sleep. You know what it's like when you don't sleep. You're sleep deprived, you don't have the energy, and you feel down, and the slightest thing or trigger sets you off and could set you into a rage, and you think, oh, that's not me, and I don't like being this angry person. Well, get a good night's sleep and you'll be better able to tolerate and be more resilient to withstand any adversity or any challenging people in your day. The best way to approach sleep, and this comes from one of the leading professors around sleep, is around consistency. So same time to bed, same wake time. Okay, that's all you have to focus on in terms of the most important thing around sleep. Getting to bed, if it's 10 p.m., always making sure you're in bed by 10 p.m. and you wake up at 6 a.m. The minute you mess that up, your whole sleeping pattern is messed up, but you can get it back. It just requires a bit of consistent work towards it. In terms of the other one I wanted to mention is it's important you have this routine around your wind down, okay? So having the same routine for you winding down so that you can fall asleep is really important, because we're creatures of habit, and by doing the same ritual, the same routine, we send signals to our brain that it's sleep time. You start to feel drowsy. You start to initiate the sleeping hormones such as melatonin. So it's really important that you be consistent with the routine around how you wind down. There's plenty of tips around that. I do have lots of them on my website. So please visit my website and you will get some. There's a whole sleep webinar on terms of techniques on routines and how to unwind, and we don't have enough time for now. I'm keeping this short and sharp. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is really important in terms of not allowing overload to the brain. So we get anxious when we've got so many sensory and stimulus coming into the brain that we can't process it all, right? It's just all scattered. You know what that feeling's like? It's because it's sensory overload. Mindfulness allows us to empty the mind, right? And it's a great sort of cleansing to constantly do throughout the day. And you can do this by just focusing on a single task, right? So the whole thing around mindfulness is being mindful to the task you're doing, or being present in the task you're doing. So if it's a relationship, spending time with someone, it's being present with that person, being really in tune, totally devoted to listening and feeling what they're feeling. Okay, you can do this through regularly doing a hobby that you like doing. Just do 30 minutes of it a day, or maybe it's 5 minutes scattered throughout the day in between meetings or something. Just allow you to a bit of unwinding, clearing the mind, and just focusing on a single task to avoid this sensory overload. Nature, getting with nature. But when I say getting with nature, getting in nature, I mean connecting with nature. So it's going to the park and listening out for the birds, looking at the birds, looking for the butterflies, observing what the ants are doing. It's really connecting with it and marveling with the incredible world we live in, universe around us. So really connecting our senses with the universe, the world around us through nature really helps set you in the present moment. Again, the last one here is breathing, right? It's so simple that you can do it anytime, and it's really just focusing on getting some deep breaths and slowing down the breathing, right? So really breathing in for as long as you can, holding the breath, exhaling for as long as you can, holding and then breathing in again. And slowing down the cycle is telling the body that everything's okay. And the only thing you're doing when you're breathing is focusing on that breathing activity, right? And that's really clearing the mind. It's telling the body everything's okay. You're not under threat. It can calm down. It can relax. When we do this sort of relaxing mindfulness, our digestive system better functions. You might have realized that when you're under stress, your digestion is a mess. It's because our digestive function is, in a way, inactivated. Not entirely, but it's down-regulated, or the dial is turned down, so to speak, when we're stressed. When we're relaxed, the dial is turned up and digestion works so much better. So we need to have this balance all the time. Nutrition, again, 3 simple principles. Keep it simple. Whole foods, right? Whole foods, what do I mean by that? As the origin is, right? So it's, if you can't recognize where that food's come from, then it's over refined, for example. There's, I guess, sugar, for example, is really refined, right? You look at where it's derived from is the cane. So what we're looking to do is just focusing on getting, a whole lot of vegetables in their whole form and then doing something with it. Yes, you can still process it, but it's not processing it to the degree of over-processing. So, chopping up, obviously, the spinach or the vegetables, putting them into a soup, focusing on having a wide variety of vegetables, a wide variety of grains, a wide variety of nuts and seeds, a wide variety of meats, variety in everything. That's when you'll get the right balance, okay? Is really just making sure that you're not just having broccoli as your vegetable source, right? Mixing up your veggies, lots of different colors, lots of different, you think all the different herb range we have, the spices, just mixing up everything, having a wide variety. Yes, you can have your basic staples, but then making sure amongst the staples there's lots of variety. And that's really the key thing around nutrition. And if you really just make sure that you're having protein, again, this is going to depend on what you do and your activity. It's very individual. But if I were to take a general rule of thumb, it's essentially your palm size. So the size of your palm is the amount of protein, like the amount of meat you want to be having per serve, your palm. If I'm looking at the amount of vegetables, then it's pretty much half the plate, so to speak. You want to be having vegetables, different colors. And then the other, in terms of carbohydrates, again, it's going to vary on the amount of activity, but you could say your fist would be about right, but then it really depends on your level of activity and what your goals are. So it's hard to say in terms of, but come and see me if you need help around nutrition, but try to keep it simple. In terms of movement, again, it's about variety and balance. I generally like to encourage people to choose movement that they like to do, because then you'll do it, okay? If you again, push yourself into things that you don't really like, then you'll struggle to keep up with that. But if you do things that you like, you will get more movement in your day, which will help that overall holistic health. So look for the things that you like to play, whether it be golf or touch footy or whatever sport, tennis. Do that. Make that a regular practice. Again, do it with a friend. And that is also fulfilling that relationship side of things in terms of connection. And again, you're going to have to put this in the context of what you can do around the COVID rules. But you working within the COVID rules, work out what you can do. Dance, you can put on some music and dance and make that a regular part of your day. It could be the way you start your day is just putting on your favorite tune and dancing away and just moving the body. And then there's always walking, which is a nice, you can do, generally most people can do that even if they're carrying a few injuries. They're not going to cause further damage if it's just gentle walking. So these are all just some examples. It's always good to mix it up in terms of variety. So you've got your cardio, so that's going to be your walking or your running or your dancing. Could be a touch footy game, that's your cardio activity, cardiovascular, really elevates your heart rate. Then you've got your resistance training, which is basically inserting some sort of weight-bearing exercises. So that could be walking upstairs, could be using your body weight, such as squatting and lunges and, so just push-ups, sit-ups, just really mixing it up. So you're utilizing muscle strength, you're helping your heart by elevating it occasionally. And then you want to do those stretching or those mobility type exercises that are going to help with the joints and keep you flexible and help prevent injury. So you want to just mix up the sessions so that you're getting cardiovascular, you're getting some resistance training, and you're also supporting muscles by stretching them and keeping them, keeping some sort of flexibility. So that's really, really important as we age, is keeping up our mobility and flexibility. So that's probably it for movement, and always have fun, okay? So, amongst everything that I've said, it's so important that we have fun no matter what's going on, and you can always create your own fun. Here I'm with my daughter. We decided to walk around in our onesies and to do random acts of kindness and to help people wherever we could if they looked like they needed some help, and just put some delight in people's days by mucking around and having fun and being kids again. So, spending time with kids and doing some kid activities really brings out joy. Jumping on a set of swings at the local park and just swinging and that will bring back fond memories of being a kid and being free. And you can still live this today no matter what age you are. And I always find I love it. It makes me present and it just brings joy and fun. And so keep life lightened. Don't feel like it's always burdensome and has to be serious. Add some joy, some spark, and just get out there and do things you like and have fun and play and be yourself. And finally, in summing up, not everything is cancelled. So as much as we are under restrictions and we can't do certain things, there's certainly things that will never be cancelled. The sun will keep turning up every morning. The seasons will change. The temperature will change. The birds will come out and sing every morning. There's different cloud formations that you can observe. The ocean is always dynamic. It's always changing. So it's focusing on what you can control, doing that, and just letting go of what you can't control. That is so essential in these times, because when we focus on the things that we can't control, we get stressed, we get anxious, because there's nothing we can do about it. And so for me, it's all about just letting go of the things that you can't control and focusing on what you can do to look after yourself and your family and your friends every day. And just do that day in and day out, but add variety, add spice, add some sense of adventure, try different things, take different walking paths, change your work setting, change around things on your desk, change different workplaces. You can, maybe just do a bit of work outside, or take a phone call, walking around the block, or when you go on your walk, take a different path and explore and observe and be present, and just look for the little things that will bring so much joy. And I think it's being aware that there's little things that bring joy into our lives, but we need that awareness. So look for those things, focus on what you can control. And again, remember, health needs to be looked in a holistic perspective and kept in a holistic perspective and invested from a holistic perspective. So I really hope you enjoyed the webinar today. And remember, invest in each of these quadrants, such as invest time to improve your sleep, make sure you have a good sleep routine, constantly work on improving that, make it a priority, sprinkle mindfulness throughout your day, do good around relationships, spread good, be kind, connect with others, be present, fuel your body, making sure it's whole foods, it's wide variety, it's balanced. And same with movement, that there's wide variety, it's balanced, and you focus on the things that you love. So I hope that helps. Please reach out to me if you need further help, and have a fantastic day. And remember, just focus on what you can control, do what you love, and be you. Thank you.